You ever stop to think about why a car seat just feels right? Or why some tools fit your hand perfectly, but others feel, well, just wrong? Turns out, there's this invisible science all around us, a hidden layer of design that shapes our comfort, our efficiency, and, most importantly, our safety every single day. So let me ask you this. That ache in your back after a long day at your desk, is that really just you slouching? Or could your office chair, yeah, your chair, actually be a safety hazard? What we usually brush off as just being uncomfortable is often a huge red flag. I mean, think about it. You're at your desk and you're constantly reaching for something that's just a little too far away. That tiny repeated strain, that's not you being lazy. That's a sign of a workspace that's working against you. Or how about bending over to lift a heavy box from the floor when it could have just been stored at waist level? That little twinge in your back? Yep, that's a direct hit from a system that wasn't designed for a human body. And it's not just physical stuff. Have you ever looked at a super cluttered screen or a confusing control panel and just felt completely lost? That mental strain, that moment where your brain just stalls out, that is not on you. That is also bad design. Okay, so let's get into what this is all about. All of these problems, they fall under the science of ergonomics. It's a field totally dedicated to understanding how we interact with, well, everything. It's the science of making things fit people, instead of trying to force people to fit things. This right here, this is the golden rule, the entire philosophy of ergonomics in one sentence. Instead of asking you to change for a clunky tool or a confusing process, this science says, nope, the tool, the process, the entire job has to be designed around you. So how do designers actually pull that off? How do they build a world that fits all of us? Well, it starts with something like a blueprint of a human. To design for people, you first have to measure them. And this brings us to a key scientific term, anthropometry. Now, I know, it sounds super complicated, but it's really not. It literally just means human measurement. It's the science of gathering data on everything from our height and arm length to our grip strength. It's the hard data behind making things safe. So, how do designers deal with the fact that we all come in different shapes and sizes? You might think they'd just design for the average person, right? Well, here's the secret. The average person doesn't actually exist. So instead, they design for the extremes. They look at the data for everyone from the 5th percentile female to the 95th percentile male. That way, they design a world that works for about 90% of us. Let's make this real. Imagine an emergency stop button in a factory. To make sure anyone can smack that button in a crisis, you absolutely have to design it for the person with the shortest reach, the 5th percentile. If they can reach it, then pretty much everyone else can too. But for something like a doorway, you flip the logic completely. You gotta make sure the tallest person can walk through without getting a concussion, right? So for clearance, you design for the 95th percentile. If they can fit through, we all can. Simple as that. So once you have these core principles of reach and clearance, you can go from that abstract human blueprint to actually designing the world around us, building safety and comfort right into the things we use every single day. Let's go back to your desk. It's all designed around your personal workspace envelope. See, the area you can easily reach by just moving your forearms? That's your primary zone. That's where your keyboard, your mouse, the stuff you use constantly should live. Everything else gets pushed out to the secondary zone. And the best part is, you can use this science right now. Seriously. For a much better workstation, first, adjust your desk or chair so your work surface is at elbow height. This keeps your wrists straight. Second, move your most used items into that close primary zone so you're not always reaching. And third, put your monitor so the top of the screen is about 15 degrees below your direct line of sight. This one little trick keeps your neck in a neutral position all day. No more neck pain! But ergonomics isn't just about avoiding a sore back. The stakes get much, much higher. When a system's design goes against the way our minds actually work, it can lead to cognitive failure. And the consequences there, they can be catastrophic. I mean, just look at this statistic. Studies show that a massive 60 to 90% of industrial accidents get blamed on human error. It's a really convenient label, but it hides a much deeper, more troubling truth. So we have to ask, is it really the human's fault? When an experienced, well-trained operator pushes the wrong button in a high-stress moment, is that a personal failure? Or is there something else going on? And that something else has a name: design-induced error. This is what happens when the system itself, the interface, the layout, the whole procedure is designed in a way that basically invites you to make a mistake. It sets people up to fail. Here's a great way to think about it. The active error, the mistake the operator makes, that's just the symptom, like a sneeze. The real problem, the underlying disease, is the latent error, the hidden flaws in the design or the organization that made that sneeze pretty much inevitable. Okay, let me give you a perfect real-world example of this. It's a classic case study you could call the unreachable button. So in this facility, during a major incident, an operator just couldn't get to the emergency stop button in time. Why? Because the button's location was designed based on the arm length of a 95th percentile male. The actual operator was smaller and simply couldn't reach it. The result was a massive equipment failure. That wasn't human error. That was an error built right into the design. And the lesson from that is crystal clear. For anything that is safety critical, you have to design for the smallest person, the 5th percentile. It's a simple idea, but it has life or death consequences. Which brings us right back to where we started, fitting the job to the worker. This isn't just a nice-sounding slogan. It's a fundamental principle of safety. It's about building systems that expect us to be human and forgive our mistakes, not create them. So I'm going to leave you with a question. Look around you. Your home, your car, your office. Now that you know what to look for, what in your world clearly wasn't designed for you? Because I promise, once you start to see it, you can't unsee it.